I guess my expectations were just too high. Yeah, that's it. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we discuss A Quiet Place Part 2. The film opens with a flashback to the beginning of the invasion, which is not a spoiler because you see just about everything play out in the trailer. It was very reminiscent of the street escape scene from other films, such as World War Z and Dawn of the Dead. But the film isn't about what happened before. It continues the established narrative of focusing on the one family, the Abbotts, and following the opening scene, the rest of the film picks up right where the last one left off. Only this time, the family is on the move, and their mission is to find a new home. By now, they know the monster's triggers, and they know their weakness. And so does the audience, which really reduces a lot of the tension in scenes intended to put viewers on edge. Also, instead of the aliens being the principal villain in this film, it's a balance between them, always a noise away lurking in the shadows, and the remnant of humanity who've largely become, as is almost always the case in these films, the greater threat to survival. What A Quiet Place Part 2 does well is expand upon our view of the world and the fate it has silently succumbed to. But it also does a good job of showing us that the Abbotts too have transformed, with the children slowly growing into their own, building on the knowledge and lessons of their late father Lee, and becoming the beacons of hope that he would be so incredibly proud of. Now, don't get me wrong, this film is in many ways darker than the one before. Anytime you introduce human conflict in a post-apocalyptic environment, that's to be expected. But the family still represents the light, believing there's a future worth fighting for, worth sacrificing for. And in today's climate, it's the kind of uplifting and positive message that should be well received. The downside is that while there is a lot more action in this film as it tries to enlarge its scope with new locations and new and interesting characters, there's also fewer surprises and even fewer answers. We don't learn anything more about the monsters or their motivations, for example, how they got here, what exactly are they? The actors' performances are just as good as we've come to expect, but the intensity of the scenes, the dialogue, specifically the sign language and the lack of verbal dialogue that made the first film so freaking unique, is all but lost by comparison. The cinematography isn't bad, but it lacks the delicate beauty of the original. The writing isn't bad either, but lacks the same quality. Here, as before, there's a point at which the characters become separated, but this time there seems to be not nearly as much development of the story surrounding each of their journeys, relying heavily instead on the urgency of the moment and jump scares to keep us engaged. Overall, A Quiet Place Part 2 returns to theaters with more spectacle and less horror than fans got from John Krasinski back in 2018. While the film is enjoyable and entertaining, it lacks the tone, the unnerving terror, and the originality in storytelling that A Quiet Place Part 1 brought to the big screen. While I would recommend this film, I have to warn anyone who really loved the first one that you shouldn't go in expecting more of the same. This film is fine. It's a decent horror movie and a good time, but it will probably forever remain in the shadow of its predecessor. But hey, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.